All right, so for this unit, we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at a lot of different types of word problems when we're dealing with these systems, which remember is two equations of lines, and we want to find that point of intersection where they cross. So in word problems, I want to talk about some general tips and some of the basic word problems that you're going to see. In the other videos, I'll cover the other topics like percentage and area and perimeter, stuff like that. So the general tips for this, let's open this up. There's always going to be two variables in every single question you're dealing with. If we look over at like some of the numbers example, there's like one number and another number. Those are going to be your two variables. The kind of clue that you know what the variables are is at the end of the question, it usually says, what are something and something? That's going to be your two variables. What you should always start your questions with is defining what the variables are. So I did it in this one. So I said like, oh, X represents the number of chickens and Y represents the number of cows. It doesn't matter what it is, but you should usually say X represents and Y represents. You can use other letters too. Like I could have used like C and I guess not C as well, right? Maybe like K and C, something like that. It doesn't matter as long as you're not going to mix them up partway through the question. The other thing is, so you know there's going to be two variables, X and Y. There's also going to be two equations every single time. There's two equations hidden in the question, and there's usually two different clues. A lot of times, one of them is an easy equation, like the sum or something, and one of them is complicated, depending on the type of question you're doing. I'll go over in different videos each of the different types of complicated equations that exist. But like after a while, like you can't cover every single type in a video. It starts to be that you understand how the questions work and you break them down and build up a system for taking on new problems. So for example, if I read a question, this might be the two equations that I build. So like the question said, there are 20 tickets in total. So I said, okay, I don't know, X is going to be like the number of child tickets and Y is going to be the number of like adult tickets. So I know that if I add up the number of child and adult, I'm going to get 20. And so that becomes my first equation right there. The second clue it gives me is that like, oh, the child tickets cost $3 and the adult tickets cost $5. So I'm going to say like, okay, so if I have like 3 times the number of tickets I had, X, plus 5 times the number of adult tickets I have, that's going to give me the total money, which in the question it told me was $80. Usually they'll give you the total, something like that. The trick is, once I have these two equations written, I have X plus Y equals 20 and 3X plus 5Y equals 80, I'm ready to do the question. Because all the questions we were doing in this unit, once you had two equations, you could solve it using like substitution or elimination, or I guess graphing, but graphing sucks. Okay, so once you create those two equations, you're done the hard part of the question. The last clue I'm going to give is that sometimes it's helpful to just write it out using words before you make an equation. So for example, it said there's 20 tickets in total. So I said, okay, total is like adding equals, right? And then total also means you're adding two things together. So I have to add two numbers. And I think, well, okay, we got like the kid tickets and we got like adult tickets. So I think, okay, wait, number of kid tickets, well, I already have that's X. And adult tickets, well, that's going to be Y. So that's my whole equation. I'm done. For the second one, I was like, okay, I know that the total money I made was 80, which again, total means I'm going to be adding two things. I know I have to add the kid tickets and the adult tickets. And I know that if I just added them together, it would give me the total number of tickets. It wouldn't give me the total money. So there has to be something about money here. So I think, okay, how much is like a number of kids tickets worth? It says $3 per child ticket. So I'm going to multiply the number of tickets times $3. And same thing over here, I'm going to multiply the number of Y tickets by $5 because that was their cost. And then when I look at it, it's price times number plus price times number equals total. And that's it. So now that we have some of those tips, let's look at some sample questions for the number of questions. And we'll set it up. So this one number is 4 less than 3 times another. Usually each sentence is going to be its own equation. So one number is, so one number I'm going to call it X. That's the first number. When it says the word is, that's an equal sign. Is equals. It says 4 less than 3 times another. I want to do this part first, 3 times another. So another is another letter, that's going to be Y. So 3 times Y, but it said 4 less than. So I know that I have to decrease something by 4 to make it less than. The tricky thing with this is a lot of students would do it like this. They'll go like, oh, 4 minus 3y, but that would be like 4 decreased by 3y, which isn't what we want. We want it to be 4 less than, which is why we wrote it that way. So that's the first equation. We have it. One number is 4 less than 3 times another number. Cool, equation 1. Equation 2 says, if the sum of the numbers is 36. So I'm like, whoa, okay, hold on. So we know that the sum was 36. So the sum is 36. Sum means add. And it said the numbers is the sum. So I know the numbers are x and y. Now I have my second equation. This was the easy one in this case. And that's it. Now they have the two equations I can solve using substitution or elimination. I'm not going to do that in this video because you know how to do that already. Setting these up was the big thing. You could try with this question as well, and the answer here, I'll write it here so you can see it. The difference between two numbers is 5. Difference is subtraction, so it's that. And the second question, double the first, 2x, is equals 3 more than triple the second. 3 more than is plus 3, triple the second is 3y. And that's the second equation, or the second question set up. And that's it. So read through the question carefully, set up your two equations with your two variables, and then you can solve the rest with substitution and elimination.